For the first time ever, Samoa Joe has opened up and really went into great detail about the CM Punk All In incident. And in this video, I'm going to break it down because Samoa Joe is the latest name to comment publicly on Punk's departure and what actually happened that day. It was a decision to release Punk by AEW President Tony Khan. Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, they've previously commented on it, and the departure was following Punk's physical altercation with Jack Perry at All In. What was supposed to be a historic night ended up being the Punk show. And Samoa Joe was actually the last man to have wrestled Punk in AEW as they worked that show. In the opening segment, there was an incident, and then there was, okay, we got to get everything back on track. And this incident nearly caused the show to be reshuffled as Punk was upset. Fortunately, though, Joe reportedly was there to calm down the situation as he's been good friends with Punk for years now. And the match went as scheduled. Punk went over, and that was the last time we've seen him. So, while speaking with the New York Post, Joe was asked about the incident, and this is what he had to say. For the most part, I haven't read what's been portrayed. There's been so much said. I'm not the one to go out there and try to debunk everything. I know we had the initial incident. Everyone rallied. Everyone got together, got their heads together and lined up and got ready to do the show. We went out there and we did the show. That really was the focus at the point in time. We got a massive show to do, and we got fans out there rabid to see what will happen. So it's important that we step up and do it, and it's important that we did, and I was proud of that. He was then asked whether the situation was as serious as Tony Khan had described in his Collision announcement. At the time, if you recall, Khan actually stated that Punk endangered the innocent lives of those backstage, and Punk got so upset that he actually feared for his life in regards to what Punk may do. Joe continued, "That's up to whoever perceived it. I'm used to that environment. Those things don't seem to be very intense to me, but it could be something crazy intense to someone else. Wasn't really affected by the moment. I was more focused on getting the show back on track and getting us going because it was bell time." Now, look, as I previously discussed, these two have a long history together, spanning decades. And regarding his relationship with Punk, Joe thinks that things about him have misunderstood or portrayed wrongly. But their relationship has always been a non-wrestling related type of relationship and not something that is solely based on pro wrestling, even though they've wrestled for decades across AEW and ROH. And it was fun that they got to revisit that. And it wasn't as good as what they had done, but you could make the case that promos were better this time around. And you could make the case that if Punk is never going to go back to WWE, and obviously he's not coming back to AEW, maybe he finishes his wrestling career on this note. I mean, you can't go out on a higher note in Wembley Stadium in front of 70, 80,000 people and whatever report you want to, believe against a really good friend and one of your greatest rivals of all time. To me, that's pretty good to go out on.